Okay, let's get this show on the road. Thank you so much for joining us for the monthly ramp up presented to you by Franchise Ramp. My name is Nick Hansen, head of creative at Franchise Ramp, and I'm super excited for our latest edition of the clients only webinar series that will include a mix of in the trenches knowledge and high level strategy, along with a featured interview with a franchisee. Today we have Emily Hammett, high performing club Pilates owner of Rancho Santa Margarita, Villa Park, San Clemente, and Tustin, and our awesome franchisee success manager, Krishna Desai, will conduct the interview. You will also receive a marketing update from VP of Operations at Franchise Ramp, Aren Johnstone, and a tactical tools discussion with account manager, Sam Banjak. At the end of the session, there will be a brief Q&A, so please message us in the chat as we go along if you have any questions, and we'll definitely get those answered at the end. We'd like to say thank you so much for being a Franchise Ramp customer. The monthly Ramp Up's goal is to give you a coherent picture of what's happening at the intersection of marketing and franchising. We want this to be a tight-knit community for franchisees to share knowledge and gain insight. Our mission is to help franchisees realize their entrepreneurial dreams through targeted marketing strategies that maximize success for consumer-oriented franchises. Please come back and join us again. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce our VP of Operations at Franchise Ramp, Aren Johnstone.
Thank you so much, Nick. And first, just thank you everybody for being Franchise Ramp customers. I'm very excited for today's topic, which, Nick, if you go to the next slide, is holiday marketing. And we're going to go through, basically, we're going to start with holiday marketing and trends from previous years, and then how COVID will affect holiday marketing in 2020, as well as consumer behavior. And we're going to end with a timeline of events. So really what you should anticipate as a franchisee, what you should be thinking about, and then some key takeaways on how to maximize the potential for marketing in your area and maximize the value for your business over this holiday time period. So to get started, Nick, next slide. We're going to go some high level statistics over last year mostly. So first off, last year was the first year that topped $1 trillion in total retail sales. So there's 1.0007, it barely broke. And then very interesting is that brick and mortar comprised 87% basically. So 869 billion of all retail sales. So the rest of that is going to be all online. And for franchisees, which have either fitness studios or beauty salons or really any sort of experience, 39% of that total spend was on experiences. That's a very large category. A lot of this information I'm getting from Deloitte, which is a giant international national study. So that experiences category includes things such as food and beverage, but it also includes fitness studios, salons, etc. So that's both gifts and for personal use. Something else that's very important directly for Facebook, social advertising, search advertising is that ad costs or bid costs can increase by up to as much as 140% on average. And for the people who haven't been on the previous webinars, I'm just going to take a quick second to discuss CPM costs. So really that is Nick, go back one slide. That is a quick, there we go. So CPM is a cost per 1,000 impressions. It really just means how much does it cost to show your ad to 1,000 people. And it's a pretty standard term used to determine the cost to advertise. And it's directly proportionate to the demand. So this is from about $4 million in total spend, all of our accounts, mostly in the fitness and beauty space, all franchises in the last year. And in November and December you can see in October and November of last year, there was a significant spike in CPM cost. It did go up by about 140% actually. And most of that is because demand. So people are willing to spend more during that time because consumers are buying more. And so you're competing with bigger spends from companies like Amazon, Walmart, Target, Best Buy, and all of the e-commerce industry. Now, the good news is that user behavior also changes. They are willing to purchase more. And so if trends continue this year, this is through September, the cost to advertise or to show your ads will continue to increase, and it peaks that weekend of Black Friday through Cyber Monday, as you would expect. Now going into a little bit more numbers and specifics about what you can expect in 2020 and some very interesting predictions. Next slide, please. All right. So obviously COVID has had significant impact on basically every part of normal life and obviously consumer behavior. So we're going to start with 51% of people are reporting that they're anxious about shopping in store due to COVID. So that's going to have some significant impacts. One, more people are going to shop online, and two, the things that they're going to buy are different. The next very important thing that we're going to talk a lot about on time frame and how you should really think about your advertising over the next 2 months is that 47% of users are saying that they don't plan to shop on major events. So a major event is Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And if they're not planning on shopping on those 2 days or that weekend, their spend or purchasing behavior is going to be distributed over a wider time frame. Or not necessarily wider, but different time frame. So it's very important for you as an advertiser or for as a business owner to not just focus on that 4-day period to get all of those prospects, because literally 1/2 of all people are not really going to be shopping for those for their holiday purchases or experiences in those major events on those 2 days. The next thing that's very important is that the shopping duration is going to drop. So what that means is from your first purchase for holiday gifting or personal shopping to your last purchase. Last year, it was about 7.4 weeks. So it's about 2 months. So they really start at the beginning of November all the way through January. This year, it's going to be cut shorter. So they're going to do shopping more randomly. It's not really going to be centered around the major events, and they're going to get it done quicker. Another interesting thing is that 38% of people plan to spend less this holiday season. This is really disproportionate to the people who are normally in the lower income brackets. Those brackets were affected significantly worse due to COVID than some of the higher income brackets. And so that's why the overall average predicted spend for a family or a single family household is going to be not much different. So last year in 2019, the average family spend was $1,496. And it's only dropped to $1,387 predicted for this year. So that's not a 38% drop. It just means that the people who have a lot of money are going to be spending more, and the people who don't are going to be spending significantly less. So for targeting and who you're going after, it's really important that you're going towards the people or the demographic types who are willing to spend more money. And another thing that's very relevant for experiences or brick and mortar businesses that are not necessarily selling retail products is that there's going to be a 34% decline in travel spend. Now that money is not going to go away. It's going to shift. And it's going to shift to non-gift personal purchases. So that's where fitness studios, salons come in, and franchises. So it's going to go to house improvements, so furniture, painting, and or membership. So things people wanted to do, like a Pilates membership or a cycle bar studio, or going to get your eyelashes done or something like that. And Nick, next slide, please. That takes me to a really important part, and this is really getting to how you should think about your next 2-month period as a business owner, and how we're thinking about it as an advertiser. The key takeaway from this graph here is that 61% of people are going to begin shopping before Thanksgiving. So that means that if you start your holiday advertising on Black Friday, if that's your first, it doesn't have to be a sale, but if that's your first time that you acknowledge the holidays or you say we're doing holiday advertising, then you've missed out already on 61% of people. Now, some of those might continue into the December period, but you're missing out on a very large percentage of people. And then you can see that it continues all the way through December. So going back to the thing where 47% of people are not going to be shopping or planning to shop on significant dates, such as Black Friday or Cyber Monday, the holiday or Black Friday time period is really from the beginning of November through early December. So you need to be advertising and thinking about holidays throughout that time period. Nick, next slide, please. This is a rough timeline of what we're thinking about here at Franchise Ramp. This is very different depending on the brand that you are in or the brands that we work with, working closely with all our corporate partners on establishing the best offers and messaging to match somewhat of this time frame. But we as a company are really focusing on getting holiday messaging. So whether that's snowflakes on your ads or emojis that are more holiday specific, out and published and into the world by November 6th, which is the first Friday of November. It's a really good date to start. And then not thinking of Black Friday as a Friday, but thinking it as a time period. We're planning on working with the brands, obviously, on their specific time frame, but starting much earlier. So even a week before Black Friday. So that would be Black Friday this year is November 27th. So if we start a week earlier, you can maximize the people who are not really caring about Black Friday and are shopping earlier, starting before Thanksgiving. You could also start on that Monday, but it's really important to think of it as a time period not as a single day. And then that would continue all the way through Cyber Monday to the day after. And this is actually the first year, especially in younger demographics, where Cyber Monday is recognized as a more significant shopping day than Black Friday. That's mostly along millennials and Gen X or Gen Z. I think that's the right one, behind millennials. And then another very interesting point is, when should you start your New Year's advertising? So this changes depending on the brand, what's relevant, but a very important date to consider is the last guaranteed by shipping Christmas date. So e-commerce brands typically will stop most of their advertising spend after that day, or on or after that day. And the reason why is because they cannot get your product to you by Christmas, which leads to a lot of refunds and chargebacks and bad customer service. So if you're a good e-commerce company, you actually put that up there. This is our date that we have to get the orders by, and then spending drastically declines. So CPM cost, the cost to advertise, will drop after that date. That's a perfect opportunity to get people to start thinking about the New Year's. So you don't want to start New Year's advertising again on January 1. You can start it anywhere after. We would recommend somewhere between that last guaranteed by shipping date and the New Year's, which is something you can work directly with your brand on. And of course, we can help facilitate that conversation, and we're working with all of our corporate partners. Now, one more slide, Nick. Just some key takeaways and things that you can do and should be thinking about over the holiday period here to really maximize the value of your holiday advertising. So first of all, start your digital holiday advertising in early November. Don't wait until Black Friday. I've said that multiple times and I can't say it enough. Again, it doesn't have to be the biggest sale of the year for a month and a half. It just means that you need to theme your advertising, talk about it in emails, talk about it on your digital or social ads. And then second, use your email list. New prospects is not the only thing that's valuable to you as a business. Your email list is probably one of the biggest assets that you have for holiday consumer behavior. Now, a couple reasons for that is people on your email list are both prospects who maybe joined for various offers in the past, they're ex-customers, or they're current customers. And if you're offering, depending on whatever you're offering, it might be something that you can offer to them. Now, so a couple statistics just to prove the relevance of email is that it was last year in 2019, it was responsible for 20% of all online holiday store visits. It's a huge percentage. It's 1/5, and it's unpaid. You don't have to pay for those impressions. You're literally just sending out an email to people you've already paid for to get them to come back. And very interestingly, the consumers who purchased through email are willing to spend 138% more. Now, that's because they have an existing relationship with you. So if it's the first time you see someone on an ad, you call, you purchase something, it's a way different buying cycle and a way different person than someone who's been getting your emails for a year. Now you're offering a great Black Friday discount and they buy, and they're going to buy more because there's more trust and a longer relationship there. And then lastly, very interesting, and I wanted to end with this. So Deloitte did a very big study on what's going to influence consumer behavior the most in 2020. Obviously, there's a lot of considerations here like safety or crowd size, et cetera. And deals still win. So if you think of anything, deals still win. The number one influence by a lot is how the quality of the deal. The number one search term is going to be best deals near me, or best deals online, or best deals on Amazon. All the search terms, all the relevance is going to be around the best deal. So deals still win. So first, focus on deals. Then the next item on the list was convenience. So consumer behavior is going to be much more local. They're not going to drive to the mall in their city. They're going to stay in a 5 to 10 mile radius. So focus on convenience. Is it easy to acquire that product? Can they do it quickly, or that service? And then lastly is focus on safety. So 51% of people are very, like I said at the beginning, are scared to go back into a studio or to shop in a retail store or a studio. It's very different for like boutique fitness or health concepts, but focus on safety. So deals, convenience, and safety. And then last, so to move forward, I'm going to introduce Sam, who can take it away here. He's going to talk about how we can take full advantage of Facebook targeting with creative and copy. Sam, all you.
All right, thank you, Aaron. So yeah, my name is Sam, and I'm an account manager here at Franchise Ramp. Hopefully I'm coming in okay for everybody. But today I'm going to be talking a bit about Facebook targeting, specifically, how we take full advantage of Facebook targeting using strong ad creative and copy, which becomes even more crucial as we're entering the holidays. So today I'm going to go over, the different types of Facebook audiences we use, knowing what your brand offers to different types of audiences, and then with that knowledge, how we utilize ad creative and copy when targeting those different types of audiences to drive results. So I think we all know, marketing at its core is simple. It's selling something in a way that people can relate and envision themselves using the product or the service. Do they want it when they see it? That's the major question. Like a seemingly obvious example, if you're targeting men and you show women in the ad, the men can't relate. So it's all about making an ad that relates to who they are. So thanks, Nick. Stay on this slide. So first, I'm going to be talking about the different types of Facebook audiences we use. The first being what we'll call today the maximum qualified audience. This includes broad audiences on Facebook, which uses location, age, gender, and language targeting, as well as like lookalikes and connections audiences, which uses member lists, followers, engagers, lookalikes to those, etc. So with maximum qualified audiences, we're targeting more people around your locations, but know less about them. So for example, we may know Jenny is 40 or above and lives within 5 miles of your studio, but that's all we're going to know about Jenny. We don't know what she's interested in, whether or not she has children, her purchase behaviors, etc. So then if you go to the next slide, Nick, our second type of audience we'll talk about is what we'll call a segmented qualified audience. Here we'll likely be targeting fewer people around your locations, but we'll know more about them when we're targeting them. This audience includes factors that narrow it down for maximum qualified audiences, things like education, relationship status, interests such as yoga, baseball, organic foods, and possibly even behaviors like device usage, travel, even politics. So with these types of audiences, we may know Jenny is 40 or above, lives within 5 miles of your location, and is a mother who's interested in yoga and fitness. So if you go to the next one for me, Nick. So with these types of audiences in mind, it's very important to know what your brand offers to them. As an example, I'll use Stretch Lab, which is a wellness brand that we work with that does customized assisted stretches for their customers. So what does Stretch Lab offer to a maximum qualified audience that we talked about? What can essentially everyone gain around their area from Stretch Lab? That's going to be their main benefit points. So increased flexibility, better posture, reduced body pain and tension, and improved range of motion are some of those benefits. We know everyone in a radius around a particular like Stretch Lab studio can get these benefits. But, what about the other type of audience we talked about, the segmented qualified audiences? Well, if we break it down or, narrow further from our, maximum qualified audiences, people interested in maybe like golfing can use stretching to smoothen out their swing. Mothers and fathers can get some stretch relief or some stress relief, especially during times like COVID. Runners can reduce tension in their workouts. Weightlifters can get a stronger recovery from their training, etc. So when segmenting our Facebook audiences using things like interests, it's crucial we consider these different benefits, especially when it comes to building campaigns and using the best ad creative and copy we can to drive results. So if you go on, Nick. So then how do we utilize those different types of ad creative and copy with our different audiences? So working off our previous Stretch Lab example, here's a maximum qualified audience of women within like a 5-mile radius of whatever location we're using. So keeping those broader maximum qualified benefits we talked about, a strong copy example for this audience would be, ladies of whatever location it is, for a limited time, try our intro stretch for 40% off. Our 50-minute assisted stretches help increase flexibility, reduce body pain and tension, improve range of motion, build better posture. Stretch Lab will help you reclaim your freedom and partner with you on your flexibility journey. Click Get Offer to claim 40% off your first stretch today. So in this copy example, we start with a call out to grab attention, build some urgency with limited time, and promote the location's offer. We then move into those benefits that we talked about that are relevant to all people in that audience. Again, here it's all women in a 5-mile radius, and then move into our closing. Also, alongside this copy, using images that show what Stretch Lab does while being relevant to everyone, we are targeting, again here, all women in a 5-mile radius. Moving into another example. So for another maximum qualified example, use another brand we work with, Decalash, a beauty company that specializes in eyelash extension services and products. A maximum qualified audience for Decalash would be maybe all women within 5 miles of the Decalash location. So a strong copy example would be, let's say Glenview is a location. It's time to look fabulous with beautiful eyebrows. We're offering our microblading package for $100 off. Our microblading package includes eyebrow consultation, first microblading service, 1-month touch-up. Our artist will give you a full look that's versatile enough to take you from the boardroom to the hot tub. Click Get Offer to redeem these fantastic savings. So again, in this copy example, we start with an attention grabber, promote their offer, and go into benefits that are relevant to all people in our audience before moving into closing. And again, using images that are also relevant to everyone we are targeting with maximized qualified audiences. So then moving forward, so we've covered, some examples of creative and copy used in our maximum qualified audiences, where it's absolutely crucial the messaging we use is relevant to everyone we're targeting. So now we'll move into some examples for brands using segmented qualified audiences. If you go to the next one for me, Nick. So again, working off our Stretch Lab example, here's a segmented qualified audience of men within a 5-mile radius of the location who are all interested in golf. So keeping those segmented qualified benefits we talked about in mind, a strong copy example for this audience would be, looking to smooth out your golf swing? For a limited time, try our intro stretch for 40% off. Our 50-minute assisted stretches help reduce body pain and tension, build better posture, increase range of motion and flexibility. Stretch Lab will help you strengthen your game and partner with you on your flexibility journey. Click Get Offer to claim 40% off your first stretch today. So in this copy example, we start with a targeted, thought-provoking question, looking to smooth out your golf swing, because we know everyone we're targeting is interested in golf, which is an especially strong, attention grabber in that scenario. When we move into our offer, listing our segmented qualified benefits with targeted emoji bullets. Those golf bullets like emojis work extremely well in these types of audiences, and end with the targeted closing. Stretch Lab will help you strengthen your game, etc. The images we use here, as you can see, are also specifically relevant to men that are interested in golf, and relate to also show Stretch Labs, what they do. So that's an example. Moving into our final example for another segmented qualified audience, we'll use another brand we work with, Athletic Republic, a training brand created to help athletes increase their performance. So a segmented qualified audience for Athletic Republic would be parents who have varying sports interests within 5 miles of the location, because specifically we want them to sign their kids up for Athletic Republic's training program. So strong copy here would be, parents of athletes want to give your son or daughter athlete a safe competitive advantage. Claim a free acceleration fitness class for them. Our incredible acceleration training program has increased athletic performance for over 1 million athletes, and it's fun. 5 reasons Athletic Republic is safe for your child to train. All athletes' temperatures are checked at the door, contactless check-ins. We're keeping our class sizes small. 6-foot separation between athletes is required, and staff and athletes sanitize between and during sessions after handling any equipment. Click Learn More to claim a free acceleration fitness class for your young athlete today. So in this copy variation, we start with a call out with sports emojis. Again, connecting to that segmented audience. Then a thought-provoking question for parents. Want to give your son or daughter athlete a safe competitive advantage and move into our offer. The benefits we list here have to be relevant for parents, and parents, not only just parents who are interested in sports, that they would really be benefits and list the benefits for their kids. Athletic Republic's training program gives their kids a safe and competitive advantage, and it's fun for them. The images we use here also just show young athletes training again, staying relevant to targeting sports parents. So then moving on to my final slide, what does this mean for you? It's very important you work with your franchise success manager to better understand, who we are currently targeting, who we are able to target, and who we should try targeting in the future. Work with your teams and your franchise success managers, again, to understand what your strongest maximum and segmented qualified benefits are so they can be utilized in our marketing. And then lastly, make sure to take photos and videos to send us as well for your own social that reflect, the different benefits of your brand. So we're able to use relevant material for our audiences when building campaigns. So with that, I'm going to hand it off, I guess, to Krishna or back to Nick. Whoever wants to grab it.
Yeah, thank you, Sam. That was amazingly informative. Please message us in the chat if you have any questions for Sam or for Aren's initial share. And now we have Franchisee Success Manager, Krishna Desai.
All right, thank you so much. And thanks everybody for joining us. So today I get the pleasure of interviewing Emily. Emily and I have worked together for the last few months, but she's been a longtime client of ours. And as Nick mentioned, owns 4 Club Pilates studios, and she's been a Club Pilates franchisee for 6 years. Founded the Salt and Honey Reformer towel, which is awesome. And before, diving into Club Pilates, Emily was also the CFO for Northwestern Mutual. So, kind of a badass all around. So with that, Emily, would love to know how you got into Club Pilates.
Yeah, hi, Krishna. I actually used to be a Club Pilates client. So I was doing, in my corporate America life after work, I'd go work out, and I was a member at a Club Pilates studio in Encinitas, California.
Nice. And how did you decide on your 4 locations? Did you have like a strategy of building one by one? How did that go?
At the time I was living in San Diego, and that's where Club Pilates was founded, and that territory was pretty much spoken for, and so we kind of went to the next closest place, which was Orange County, and at that point in time the territories were a lot larger than what they are now, and so we were able to kind of take a big territory location and look within a large territory to find the right real estate.
Awesome. And what would you say is maybe some risks that you've had to take in your business journey to help you get to that next level?
Some risks that I had to take. I mean, I think really just taking my life savings and putting it on the line with opening up the studios is probably the biggest risk. I think looking back now and what I've learned, I think in opening studios is really the importance of choosing the right location. And our second location was one that, we were up against, our timeline to develop the territory, and found a spot that was, okay. And so we went into a location that ended up just being a really bad real estate move. And I wish that we had like a little bit more time on that timeline to take the time to find the right place. But, I think something that is really in line with, what you guys do and what you're seeing is, I didn't realize how important the population density was. And so, I have 2 studios where it's really easy for us to get prospects, and, our paid for marketing and then our grassroots efforts have a really easy kind of payback. And we have 2 studios that have a much lower population density, and it's a little bit more challenging to get prospects in those territories. So that's probably my biggest lesson that I've learned.
Awesome. And so with that, you mentioned there are a couple that were a little bit more challenging. So what are some techniques or strategies that you guys have tried over the years to really get that to be a performing location?
Yeah, so in the 2 studios that have a lower population density, it's really important for us to rely on our grassroots efforts. So that's, whether it's going out, right now it's kind of a funny time for grassroots marketing, but whether that's going to, health fairs or, we're actually right now getting creative and creating our own events. And so we've been hosting block parties at each of our studios and inviting, kind of our like-minded partners within the community. So we've partnered up with Modern Acupuncture, local chiropractic offices. The Stretch Labs are a great partner with us, and really just kind of cross-promote one another via social and email marketing, and just putting up flyers in each other's locations. Those are the things that are really helping those areas where it's not as easy to get prospects.
So with that said, then, with, of course, the big topic right now is COVID. What are some ways that, you guys have created like a sense of community with your different studios and just your locations in general as a result of that?
Yeah, something that, this is a very polarizing time that we're in. People are on one team or they're on the other with all sorts of different, whether that's political or just whether there's stance with COVID or, whatever it is. It's just people feel very strongly. There's not a whole lot of people that are in the middle. And, we were definitely a little apprehensive to turn our marketing back on, just because, there's the kind of like internet trolls out there that love to, do their patriotic duty to let people know how irresponsible it is that we're open, despite us taking, of course, all of the precautions to keep everybody safe, not to mention we've had 0 transmissions in any of our studios. But of course, the internet trolls don't care about any of those facts. They just want to see a picture of something and have some nasty comment. And sorry, what was the question? I totally got sidetracked on the trolls.
Honestly, it is. It's very easy to get sidetracked. It's a whole topic on itself.
Yeah, I know. I could go down the rabbit hole with the trolls.
Absolutely. So I think you kind of touched on it a little bit, but we're just talking about how we can continue to foster a community.
Right. Okay. Sorry. I knew where I was going with that. So, rather than just trying to market to everybody, which includes like the people who very passionately believe for whatever reason that it's completely irresponsible for any business to be open right now. We're really trying to target the people who, want to do something for their health and who are open to learning about like what our elevated, cleaning practices are. And so what we've really stepped up our game a lot on, that's helped a lot, is our referrals. And so basically the idea is if you've got a client that's in the studio and they're happy with your policies and, they're working out and they're working on their health and they think that's important, well, who are the people that they know? And let's get those people in rather than just trying to, blow it out there to everybody. So referrals have been huge for us in the last 2 months, especially. That's where I'd say probably half of our memberships are coming from our paid for marketing, and then the other half are coming from referrals.
Yeah, that's awesome. And within all of that, how did you land into creating a towel? Tell me a little bit about that, about your creating kind of Fountain Honey.
That was kind of a little side hustle turning into a main hustle, but in addition to Pilates, I'm also a yoga person, and I've pre-COVID, I've always been kind of a little bit of a weird germ person where, you roll out your yoga mat, and I've always thought it was really disgusting, the people that just like sweat on that thing over and over and they never wash it. So, I always used a yoga towel that had a towel on one side and then like a rubber grippy on the bottom. And, then kind of going into Pilates land, I'm thinking like, why doesn't this already exist for Pilates? So we created it, and, it's been around for a little over 2 years now. And with COVID, obviously, no explanation there. It's totally blown up. People, anything that's, germ related protection, people are all about right now. So it's been a lot of fun.
That's awesome. So, it's not a secret, just looking at like either your quick buyer or hearing, everything that you're saying, you've got that entrepreneurial bug or that entrepreneurial drive. So with that said, what is some advice that you would give to a brand new franchisee coming into Club Pilates or just in general in the franchising world?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I've found in what's made, for me, Club Pilates is now kind of turned into a quasi kind of like passive, investment, in that I have a team that's fully developed and set up, and they run and manage, pretty much everything. And, I have a meeting once a week with my managers, and that's kind of the extent of what I do. Of course, I'm always available if they have questions or need anything. But the biggest thing in getting to that level is just creating that, culture within the studios of people that love what they're doing, and that they're passionate about the work that they're doing. And, just taking care of my employees and giving them opportunities for growth and development. I think there's a lot of people that, kind of struggle with that delegation and handing things off to their staff. But really, it's especially if you want to have multiple locations, it's like with one location, you can pretty much do everything. With two, you start to get stretched thin. And by the time you get to 3+ locations, if you don't have that strong staff, it's not a fun job to have. But I'm having a lot of fun.
Yeah. That's awesome. So what would you say is the key to having that strong staff, other than just, obviously the culture is very important as well, but what does that take for you, or what has that taken?
I mean, I think I'm pretty lucky with Club Pilates in that, when I signed on with Club Pilates, it was with the original founder who, really just believed in, doing the right thing and taking care of your people. And, it's not all about, the bottom line and like, how little can I pay my people, and, all of that sort of stuff. And I really followed a lot of her, guiding principles, and I've read a ton of books on managing staff and all of that sort of stuff. So I get this question a lot from people, and it's a tough question to answer because it's not, especially right now, I get a lot of other Club Pilates owners asking me, about like, well, how are you, we're basically totally back open. We have a full staff, full class schedule, and a lot of people are struggling to get their, instructors, especially, to come back to work. And that's, it was never really a struggle for me when we reopened. And I think it's just because I've really focused on finding people who are passionate about what they're doing. And so even when, they were making more money to sit at home and collect unemployment, my people didn't want to do that. Like, they wanted to be back in the studio. They wanted to be interacting with people. They wanted to be, putting a smile on their clients' faces. And so finding those people first, and then, keeping them happy, really, and, giving them an opportunity to grow and take on more responsibility. And, I try to do a annual, not really right now in COVID season, but before all of this, I try to do an annual review with a staff person at least once a week. And that just kind of keeps me connected to everybody on staff, and I can sit down with them and really understand what their goals and aspirations are, and where they want to go, and why they're doing this. And I think your staff really appreciates when you take that time to get to know them personally, and understand what's important to them and where the direction that they want to go.
That's fantastic. That's awesome. So with all that said, what's next? Are you planning on, taking on another studio, or creating, got something creative in the background?
Yeah, so it's kind of, I guess, staying in that entrepreneurial lane. We are looking at taking on more studios and acquiring more territories to develop, and then also acquiring some studios. Right now, like I said, it's very polarizing. I feel like people are either loving this business right now, or they're like really not liking it, and they're kind of desperate to get out. And so, I'm obviously of the camp that I'm enjoying it. And I think that especially Club Pilates is poised to do really well through, COVID, however long this period of our life is going to last. And so, we're looking to acquire more studios, and then just, to kind of expand our products with Salt and Honey as well too.
That's awesome. I'm really glad to hear that. That's all I have, honestly. You know, I really appreciate you taking the time and giving us a little bit insight into your journey and your world, and you know, the way that you've come from CFO land, corporate, you know, to now franchisee. So appreciate it. Yeah, back to you, Nick.
Thank you, Krishna, and thank you, Emily. That was amazing. Please message us if you have any questions.
Did Nick freeze for you guys? All right.
Aaron, do you want to take it maybe? Or
Yeah, there are no questions. It looks like, but I will end with one more key takeaway on the emails. And Emily, you said that you're getting a lot of referrals and through about half your new customers are through referrals, correct? Yeah. So whenever you guys are using those emails, do a variety of emails. If you're sending emails out to your prospect list, don't just email the traditional holiday offer, but email, gifts for referrals. Like if you bring in a friend, work with your corporate partners on whatever various types of offers you can. So hit people from different angles, whether it's membership discounts or intro offers or gifts and referrals or discounts on gift cards. Yeah, there's different strokes for different folks. And so each person is going to buy off of a different incentive. So that's my last key takeaway. And thank you guys all so much for the monthly ramp up presented by Franchise Ramp. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.